So Rich, the reason why I wanted to get you on here is you joined our course a couple weeks ago. We didn't send you any script of what to say on this video, and we've never officially met in person. And you're starting to land some deals now. You went through the 3-step course. You're starting to get some success, just like other people are. And I wanted to bring you on here to just kind of pick your brain, because when people see ads and see stuff on Facebook, it's what I'm telling them. Yeah, buy, join. This is a great course, but I want them to start hearing it from people who are just like you, who are just going to be in the same steps as you today, tomorrow, or next week, whenever they see this video, and just tell them about your initial experience, how you found this, where you're going now, and just, you can be as honest as you want, and just tell us whatever you want, and kind of just where you're from, your past experience before you joined Residual Payments, and kind of where you're going now.
Yeah, so started about a month ago, and where we're at now, I've landed one deal already, headed to the second, and a third lined up. The experience has been great. I gotta say, working with you and Patricia has been very easy. You got a lot of these merchant service companies out there that they're always looking to bring people on, but really it's almost like a one-hit quit approach. They hope you land 1 or 2 deals, and if you don't stick around, well, they're still going to be making the revenue off your buddy who owns his own restaurant, things like that. You see that a lot in the industry, and if you're not familiar with the industry, understand that goes on a lot. The nice thing that Dave and Patricia has done is that they've created a culture, which most people don't believe it could be done, but have created a culture by using Facebook groups which you'll get access to if you go through with the program. And everybody, I mean, from them on down, is very, very helpful. Everyone wants to help out, and it's a group learning environment. So any questions you may have, someone is going to answer you, whether it's Dave and Patricia or countless other peers of yours that's in the group. Again, this industry, it could be very lucrative, but the issue is it's one of those, well, I'm speaking to the choir, but for anyone out there, it's one of those industries that you had no clue it existed. You swipe a credit card every day, but to think that a guy like David or Patricia or myself is actually getting money for that monthly, you begin to go, well, wait a minute, why don't I know about this, and why wasn't I taught about this, and how do I get in? But the real key is anyone could get in. It's just getting in with the right people that are willing to coach you and teach you, because again, right, a lot of companies out there want you in. They're happy when you close what you close, but without the training and everything else they provide, eventually you fall off, because it's sales at the end of the day. You're meeting with business owners, and you're helping meet certain needs and criteria. But the nice thing about the sale is these are business owners. They want to talk to people who could bring value. It's not like MLM marketing where you're talking to some stranger that they haven't even decided where the hell they want to buy their next home or where they want to live in 10 years, right? So, or anything. And some of them are happy with their 9 to 5, and here you are, come join my downline and we'll build this empire together.
We're going to be rich.
Yeah, we're going to be rich. We're going to be rich. So all that goes away. What happens here is that you're dealing with business owners that have needs, and especially right now with everything we're going through with COVID and everything, business owners are looking for a leg up to keep their business around, and you're offering them the best service available. We're going to drive down your rate, right? And we're going to provide you a 24/7 service. And by the way, I live in town, or you can catch me anytime because I have my phone on me, whatever it is, in our back office. And yeah, this program is everything. If you ever wanted to get into merchants, payments, digital payments, this is the program you want to be in.
Where do you think, so let's backtrack a little bit. So you're from New York, you live in New York. You're not going to give out your address, obviously. Teach me. You're from New York. Correct me if I'm wrong. You run a sales team essentially with FedEx, for FedEx, correct?
Yep, that's correct. That's correct.
And so you've been doing that for a while. And before, I guess you found this, we had an ad on Facebook, right? That's how you found this?
Yeah, it was either Facebook or Instagram. I follow a lot of business accounts.
We're going to be everywhere anyway. So, before, this ad popped up, were you actively, did you just pop up and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting? And before it even popped up, when the ad first popped up and you started reading about it, have you tried other businesses outside of the company you're with? And when it popped up, did you, like, when the ad first popped up and you're like, oh, you can make money off of credit card transactions, you're like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Like, did that even kind of like, was that even a thought ever? Or was it like you sort of knew, but you just never thought about it and they clicked? Or how did it work for you?
Yeah, so again, either Instagram or Facebook, but to your point, you guys would be all over the place. So um
You log in, we will find you.
yes, yeah, you log in, they're gonna get you. So I'm very business minded, and in my experience working for FedEx, especially on the sales end of things, I've been exposed to a lot of different business models and companies, and I actually found out about the industry, not Dave and Patricia, but about the industry about a year and a half ago from a customer of mine, whose wife, she was ran her own thing or had her own book of business, and it's the first time I ever heard like merchant payment. And right away I was like, what is it? What are you talking about? And he
Yeah.
goes, hey, swipe a credit card, you get paid. So always wondering how to get in. There are companies out there, there are companies you could do whatever, but I love the word residual, and I love where I work now. So, but like anybody in the United States or anywhere in the world, who wouldn't mind making an additional side income? Why not? You can get an additional side income to pay for your mortgage every month. You're very happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it just happened one night. I saw the ad. I knew what the industry was. And I just had to say, it was just something very genuine about you and Patricia that came across. Because again, you got to be careful who you get into business with in this industry. I just clicked on it, and I saw what you guys were talking about. And I think I also caught Patricia was on Jeff Lerner, I think his
Oh
name.
yeah, the podcast. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she did a podcast. So I through that, getting to hear her and her personality, and then again your ads, I was like, this is a no-brainer. I want to see what these guys are about. I want to learn. And guys, for the initial cost, I think class one is $37. What was it, right?
It's $37 and it's fully refundable within 30 days. So
Yeah.
people, you could join if you want. And if you're like, you know what, I hate you, which we
Hold
don't,
on.
no one
Let me
does.
just say it. Let me just say it for Dave and Patricia, right? And I'm not put up to this. This is just reality. For $37 with a 30-day money back guarantee, you can complete the first class within a week or less. It just depends what time you make for it, and it's worth it. You go through the first portion of it, you're gonna want to do step 2 and step 3. Trust me.
That's it. Three
Yeah.
steps. It's literally
Yeah.
and that's what's really, amazing about it. Cause it's like I was telling somebody yesterday, I was talking to one buddy, I said, and nothing, there's a million realtors out there. Everyone becomes a realtor. There's obviously really good realtors, but there's a million just side hustle realtor. I'm a realtor if you ever sell a house. The reason why people become realtors is because they've lived in a house, they lived in a condo, they lived in an apartment. So it's kind of like, it, right?
Yeah.
What people don't understand is most people own a credit card. Everyone in the world, I'm not gonna say everyone because someone's like, I don't, but whatever. Mostly everyone in the world has used a credit card to buy something online or offline. And whether you know it or not, you have spoken to a business owner online or offline or a manager of that business. So what people didn't realize is just like living in a house. I mean, at a certain age, obviously 15 or whatever, you get a credit card or whatever, but you've been around this business your whole life. And it's funny, we were just flying back yesterday and the lady on our flight, who was the flight attendant for us, who's a very nice lady. It was like after we said those first few things to her, she's like, oh my God. She's like, I never knew. I just figured it was the companies. I never knew that someone could actually make a percentage of their sales. I'm like, yeah, if that's your account, every time a credit card gets swiped, you make a percentage and you have zero risk, and that's where once people hear that, it really shocks their brain. And what you were saying, you were alluding to before is there's some companies out there that, we're the first training of its kind in the world, essentially, where build your own book of business. You'll see, like, I'll see every payments company has their own training, but their own training is specifically for their payments company. They want you to come work in their office. That is literally the exact opposite of what go leave that job to come work for our job. Like that's, and you also have a ton of payments companies that if you don't connect with the right people, that's where we make sure our part. If you don't connect with the right people, like you were saying, you stop bringing deals, they can stop paying you. It's not lifetime residuals. It's not, there's that little line of, so, it's so small. You need like a magnifying glass.
I think I saw one before I met with you guys. It was like you have to close every 3 months or every 6 months. You have to close an account or 2 or 3, which is for someone like myself who is trying to build a side business,
Yep.
I don't need another boss.
You don't need
That's
another,
why,
yeah,
yeah, right. I don't need another job. I'm trying to build something.
leave your job. You try to leave your,
Yeah, right. You know, I'm trying to leave my job one day because I'm, God willing, you know, build this big enough. And oh, by the way, if anyone you see this and you wonder, can it be done? It could be done. It's just whether or not you're willing to put in the work. Simple
yep.
as that. And again, jumping back into the other pool now, it's not another job. This thing complements this business, and what Dave and Patricia teach you and how accessible it is. It complements your life. So for me right now, I take advantage of my Saturdays. Why? I work Monday through Friday, you know, and maybe late Friday night, getting off on Friday night into Saturday. I take advantage of it. And we all go out, we all go shopping, we all go eat somewhere. And while you're there, you spark up a conversation with the business owner or the manager on staff at that time, and you're making connections.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with online now. If you do it online, everybody in the world tells you exactly what they own or what they do. So it's like, there isn't a simpler time in the world to find a business owner. Everyone tells you, you know, so it's like, if you can't like get, like everyone knows somebody or someone knows somebody who, and they need this, it's a service they need. They're going to use somebody. So why not make that somebody you? And the great thing about it is, like you were saying, I just got off a call with a guy who, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have business owners, we have our group of people, like you were alluding to the beginning, like half the people have full-time, maybe way more people have full-time jobs, and the other 20 or 25% or 50, whatever it is, have their own companies. So it's like, it just sparks in the back of their brain where no matter how much you're making, I have people that we've trained before we even created this platform, you know, they were making $1 million plus a year, but they like for a lawyer, for a doctor, for a business owner, for whatever you are, even if you own your own company, it resets. Once you make that sale, it resets. You have to get another one, even if it's a big win. You have a job that never resets. It's you know, it's just continuous work. So either way, the beauty of this business is if you're like, hey Dave, you know, your goal is your goal. We're not gonna put your goal out there, but you're like, okay, in under 2 years, I hope I hit it in 1 year, but under 2 years, I want to make 20 grand a month. That is my goal, you know. And if that's your goal, once you hit it, you can stop if you want, you know. Obviously, if you lose customers and you move to Hawaii, you know, get back to work, but you can do it then in Hawaii. Then you move to Scotland, do it in Scotland. You move to here, do it there. That's something that, you know, for this course, for what we've put together and what you can learn in such a short amount of time. And while you're helping business owners, helping yourself, helping your family, maybe growing a team, maybe not, you know, or even if it's just a means to an end, even if this payments career is just, I want to open a bar one day, or I want to do nothing, or maybe you're just like, you know what? You know, my neighbor bought the fancy car and I want some money so I can show him up. Okay, you know, that's fine.
Drive somebody.
Whatever, you know, you have to be honest with yourself on why you want to do this. And you also have to be honest on yourself. You know, essentially that's why we built a platform, because as you were saying, like the Facebook group, we're going to keep you accountable week after week, right? It's not just buy our 3 courses and get the hell out. It's buy our 3 courses and grow with us. And then obviously as you grow, we'll have higher tier courses if you want to take it. They're not required. But that's where, like you were saying, it's a sense of community where we're all building our own companies together, but we all then, you know, are working together. So we're working together as one, you know, essentially like a Costco, but under different roofs to try to just help everybody and just kind of have a movement, if you will, which is really nice.
Yeah. And again, like, let's go back, right? We talked about most people, they hear the word residual and it's almost like compounding interest. You know the theory behind it, but there are not too many vehicles out there that put you in play to actually accomplish that. This is a vehicle that does it, and it doesn't take up much time. I mean, if you live in whatever said town you live in and you begin to form these relationships with local business owners, and let's say you end up running that whole town, and that's not impossible because you live there, right? That one town alone can put a substantial amount of money in your pocket where you're like, wow, you know what? I paid my mortgage, or maybe now I can finally afford those vacations for my family, or I can start for some people, kids' college fund early, or whatever it is you want to do, it funds it. And what Dave just said too, there's no stopping. it just piles. The only time it stops is like, here's the reality, right? And this is what I loved about Dave and Patricia. This isn't smoke and mirrors where it's like, oh, you're going to make all this money, blah, blah, blah. No, you put in the work. And like anything else, a customer can eventually leave you. But reality is, if you're there servicing them and you check on them, one thing I've learned thus far working with you guys is this industry is full of customers who signed on with someone and have not heard from that person in forever.
Yeah.
Forever. So if you bring that to your game, that customer service aspect, where I'm not saying you call them all the time, but if you check in every once a month just to say hi, or whatever your relationship status is with that business owner, they're going to be there forever. And what Dave and Patricia have given you with the back office, with the team, it creates a very, very sticky situation where it's hard for that customer to want to leave you.
And we can also now we're kind of creating like an automated payments company. Like we're training you guys on like you're talking about accounts people probably got 10 years ago. Now you can set up an automated text that just goes out once a month, a personal text where you just create one and it just goes out to all your customers. That's how you could check in. And the beauty of what's funny, I tell everybody about this business, like you were saying, I was like, listen, I'm not trying to sell this course to have a million people buy the $37 package. Because quite frankly, it costs me almost $100 on Facebook to acquire a customer. So if you only buy the 37, I'm losing money. And I am literally working so much harder at building this community because I think it can make such big change in people's lives and business owners' lives. And if someone just wants to join it just to they're not really looking to do the work, then it's just not worth me. I don't want people to join up because like you were saying, we should be done with payments, but it's like literally a guy called me the other day. He goes, Dave, I got a guy who's doing $25 million a month. Can you help him? Why would I ever stop this business? That's it's like, no, I don't do residuals anymore. That's the funny thing. You may get out of the game and you may take a 6-month hiatus or a year, and you may not pursue customers anymore, but they will still find you once you build your presence online. And that's what we also teach you, is building your brand online. Once you build your brand, that brand can be used for very, very powerful and be used for whatever you want. In any facet of your life, you can start to really build on that brand. That's kind of what we also try to teach in terms of sales, marketing, and payments. But like you were saying, it's just so you can take it at your own pace. You can complete the 3-step course at your own pace, and you may land your first, you literally after your second or third week, landed, you had your call with your first merchant. He did the application an hour later, and it was approved. It was literally a 5-hour process, and you had just completing it, not a 5-hour process to complete an application. 10-minute process to complete the app, but it was literally just in a matter of a few hours, you already had your first guy locked down. And now your first guy, you already see, that's what's so powerful is when you help these people, they almost feel like, oh my God, thank you. No one's been helping me for so long. And he was like, hey, can you help my buddy? That's just how it works. And we're not going to name names. There's one guy in our community that we teach that literally has his whole entire town. You probably don't go to that town because he's got it locked down. He has the whole town. And that's what's crazy.
He does. And it's not impossible. Again, and I don't want to compare it to this, but everyone's been exposed to MLM at some point. I don't care who you are. You've been exposed to it, whatever, right? You're going around talking to people that you don't know if they're even interested in making money. Some people are just content with just being who they are, and there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say you got sucked in, but you meet the big wig in the hierarchy, right? You meet the big wig, and it's like, oh, everyone's going to be like that. No, you're going to face things in that aspect that you begin to realize, well, I don't want to do this anymore. But this is a real industry. Not saying MLM isn't, but you're talking to business owners that need what you have to offer. It's the coolest thing in the world. You're saving people money and providing them a better service on top of that.
And making money. And that's where
making money for it.
I mean, and there's nothing, the only thing I ever read, well, what's different than me and you? And I just say maybe time and knowledge. That's it. Now you're getting the knowledge.
Well, but I feel like I got a cheat code now, because for the things I have to go learn on my own, and this is not to hype up, it's the truth. If you don't have a mentor in your life, if I heard someone say one time, why would you take advice from somebody who what is it? If their checking account's the same size as yours, let's put it like that, right? So
Yeah.
why are you going to take, if you're the, I'll put it this way, if you're the smartest person in the room at what you do, you need to get out of that room and get in a room where you're not the smartest person anymore. And it's great being in front of Dave and Patricia because they have all this knowledge. And what I love about them though, is that you guys are humble, because the first thing out your mouth is, hey, we don't know everything either as well, but we'll find out and get an answer for you too. So it's an industry that's ever growing. And it's great to see that, because I'm trying to get where you're at, and I'm pretty sure there's somebody that in your industry you're like, we're still trying to get there too. So
that's funny. I mean, yeah, that's what people, on the social medias, you have to show all the glitz and glamour. It's funny. If people want to see what payments is like, it's like, you should have seen my sweatshirt and sweatpants 5 minutes ago with my hair all like crazy. But it's like, Dave's not humble. I just saw him on a private jet there. It's like, but what they don't see is me, and most of the time answering customer support, doing this, answering the questions that, we're not supposed to do, or doing the work that you have to be willing to do. No matter how big you get, you never get big where it's like, I don't do that anymore. I don't do this, or that's above me. And that's, if you never forget that and you don't worry about, and that's the same thing with helping business owners. You can't force a business owner to switch because it's better for you. You have to do what's best for them. And, the biggest thing that people fail at in this business is when they see something, when they're dangling the carrot, it's the life-changing residual, they will do or say anything to try to make that deal happen. And unfortunately, when it comes to making a lot of money, which people do in this industry, it can change a lot of people. And I think with our community, good people usually, bring on good people. When bad people, they attract bad people. It's that just natural thing. And we have a really, really great community of people that are just kind of like, you see someone like, hey, I got a deal. And it was like, that's awesome. Like everyone's kind of just like pumping everybody up. And it's just something that no matter what country you're in, you don't even have to go after your country. You can go after other countries, and you can learn it very quickly.
And I'll speak to that.
That
What you just said, right? Dave and I, we had a call last week with the potential merchant. Guy does crazy amount of volume. At least, again, Dave's seen a lot more, but for me,
I don't care. I'll take it if it's not enough for you. I'll take it.
Yeah, but lining them up though, we had a certain deal in place. We had 2 offers in place, one standard and one, cash discount program. And the cash discount program would have brought in a lot of money for me, not gonna lie. Right.
Yeah,
it wasn't a fit for his business model. And back to what Dave's saying, doing right by the merchant first is the most important thing. And when we understood it wasn't the right fit for him, then we said, okay, then the best fit for you is the standard. Now the standard, I'm still going to make a nice little payday, but it's nothing to what that big cash discount program would have brought. But at the end of the day, you got to remember, you're in business, you're representing you are your brand. And if you try to push someone to go with what you want, it just sets a bad precedent, and you set a bad habit for yourself, to what Dave is saying. And then before you know it, you're chasing after the wrong things and not doing the right things.
I mean, it would have been almost an extra $100,000 a year for you on your second account. That's right. I don't care who you are. That's Jesus. That's a lot of money. And that's, again, to allude back to just knowledge. We've taught so many people online before we even created this, where everyone knows all different people, and you may not know somebody, but your buddy knows somebody. It's an industry where you don't have to wait till it's your turn. Like, oh, you don't get to go after that level of client. You're not there yet. That's not for you. You need to do 10 years before you can talk to someone on that level. Like, that's like, you could go land a bigger account than maybe I've never landed in my life. That's the beauty of this business. Like, you can go to somebody and get their one restaurant and go, what about my other 99 or 100 restaurants, or this or that, or you just go to somebody, which I won't name another name. We have somebody in the group. I don't know if it's going to work out yet, but they literally, okay, so perfect example. They're just a hustler, and they went online. They found the person who was the manager of that person, who's very well known, who owns tons of stuff all across the world, essentially, and set up a call, and just didn't know him, but just was a hustler and kept attracting him. So it's like, if that person can do it, that just learned from our platform 3 weeks ago, like, why can't you? And then you have other people that, like you were saying, in the middle of nowhere, maybe you're just going to have your town. But even if you live in a small town, now with the internet, it doesn't matter.
It's accessible. Yeah. And even before the internet, picking up a phone may feel funny. It may feel like a 30-pound weight at first, but when you realize your desire to reach a certain goal, and you're in the vehicle now to do it, that phone becomes lighter after a few times, and then you jot it out. But here's the great thing: you're not alone. You have Dave, you have Patricia, you have the group. Uh, Everyone's willing to help everybody out. So again, I can't attest enough to this industry. It's a hidden gem, and if you're seeing this right now, just feel fortunate enough. And I will also add this: I've tried multiple different online businesses, right? Lead generation, this and that, and build this and blah, blah, blah. And it just always feels like it's going to work, but it quite doesn't. It
Yeah.
always feels like they're giving you all the information, but as you're in it, you feel like something's missing.
Yeah.
You've had many of those people out there, and no offense, that they will take your money and here it is. And no, we don't talk to you. Dave
Yes.
holds, just so you know, and I think this is maybe, is it inner circle or just overall?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the inner circle is worth the investment as well. Every Monday, you get on a call with Dave and the rest of your peers, and it's open, and you're learning and you're asking questions. So it's not like you never see him again, or you only talk to him through a chat forum. They make themselves super accessible, and Patricia's there as well. So I can't say enough. This is a perfect fit for your life. If you're a hustler, if you're someone who wants more, if you're someone who may get a little jittery, whatever it may be, get over that. They'll help you get over that. You can literally jump in this vehicle and make it whatever you want, and it's at your own pace. So if $1,000 is where you want to go, and that's always been like I feel like the $1,000 mark's always like the threshold. If it's real and I can get to $1,000, then maybe I can get to something else. You could get to $1,000, and one account can get you to $1,000. Let's just put it like that. So
It's something you can always have in your back pocket. You may do it for 3 months and then just be like, oh, life got in the way. And then you go back to it a year later. It's something that, you just do it at your own pace. And it's something that no matter what direction you go in, if it's owning your own company, or if it's just financial freedom, or if you just want to learn some knowledge, you could go to your new employer, and the first thing you could say is, hey, you're probably overpaying for your credit card fees. Hey, I could help you with your marketing. Hey, I could help you with your sales. You don't think that's going to get you a raise or a promotion, or if it's just, maybe it's just the one thing that you always start courses and you never finish them. Maybe just completing the course will just make you get the confidence to be like, you know what, I finally completed something in my life, and that's where, but then once they get in, they're sucked in. So I think, Rich, when we first had our one-on-one call, which everyone, after you complete course 3, you get a one-on-one call with us, and we kind of get you set up and get the direction of where you're going to go. Right after I had that call, I turned to Pat. I said, he's going to be very successful. I knew it. Not because you're from New York and you're a hustler or whatever, but I turned to him, I said, there's something about him. He's going to be very, very successful. And that's where, it's great because of people like yourself, like I always tell everybody, and that's where you can see we brought other people on the platform, we bring more. It's one thing to hear it from us, but it's also to hear from somebody like, hey, I was just like you 3 months ago. Hey, I was like just like you 6 months ago. I'm landing this, and that's where we get you just enough knowledge so you can start getting some money in your pocket, start landing accounts, and then you're always going to be learning. You're always going to be evolving. That's what's kind of also fun, where no one wants to be a library. They want to be rich. It's like you want to learn everything, or do you want to? You just need to learn right now, right? And that's where, it's these groups we're going to have after you join. It's not like, hey, you haven't bought anything in a while, you need to buy, or you're out. We're still going to have the groups, and that's where it's this long-term relationship.
You keep using that example of like the 3-month hiatus. If you close something before that little 3-month hiatus you took, you're still getting paid on that. Like you do it one time and it keeps coming in. As long as the customer's open or whatever and they're taking credit card, you're fine. I will say this for anyone who gets in, you get in, hit the ground running. Don't be afraid of failure. I'll tell you, most business owners don't even know what they're talking about when it comes to the merchant service piece.
Yeah.
Just like, I gotta take credit card. Can you save me money? Simplest line in the world. Hey, I work with partners that have been doing this for X amount of time. They have over 10,000 customers. We have access to 20 something plus
Whatever.
banks, right? Whatever it is at this point. I know based on the volume that we do, I know I can get you a better rate than what you have. I'm going to save you money.
And what's so funny is right when people graduate, they get set up everyone's now set up their LLCs for tax reasons and all that good stuff. And they're like, I have people sometimes be like, I'm scared to talk to a business owner. I said, you're a business owner now. So you own your own business. I said, why are they different? except they have so much more overhead and risk than you. That's like that's the only difference.
Yeah, and you and think about the power in this. And Dave just wow, that's a I know I'm probably that's a major key alert, as DJ Khaled would say back in the day, right? What Dave just said was a major key. You now are a business owner. You got to accept that. A lot of people face imposter syndrome, and I'll mix that in there. There's nothing special about me. I just saw a vehicle. I love what Dave and Patricia do, and I have a vision for my life and for my fiance. We're getting married. I've told you that, right? And I know what I want to be able to bring to my family. So the only thing stopping me from being successful is me, and I'm not afraid of no. No is a fake fear. No, you move on. But the reality is this: get out there, go after it, hustle. Major key: you are now a business owner. What does that mean? All right, because I can leave it there, and then Dave and I can go on and like, well, what did it mean to be a business owner? The reality is this: you now know what keeps them up at night because it keeps you up at night. Because you're wondering, like, hey, when's my next deal coming in? And some things sometimes could be slow or based on the time, but you can connect with business owners now on a real level, and they know you get them. So when they know you get them, who do you think they're going to want to do business with? The guy or gal who gets me.
And you don't have, and that's just what it's not a mean thing to say, but you get to, which any business owner watching this will probably be like, yeah, I'm gonna sign my business up, but you get you get to profit off of their risk and the money they risk with their reputation, their time, and their money, and then you get to come and make a percentage of that.
Yeah,
that's great. And then and the greatest thing about it is I've also had people we've trained where they're like, not everyone's totally different, so not to knock any type of business, but they're like, I want to open a restaurant. I've always wanted to open a restaurant. I just don't have the capital. So I'm like, okay, you're gain your capital in payments. That's how you can get it very, very quickly, right? And then after being in payments, you're like, yeah, I don't want to own a restaurant. I've seen the numbers. I don't want to deal with that. So that's where, what might keep you up at night thinking, I don't have another deal. But imagine, having, a wasted food cost or products where you just bought $200,000 in inventory. It's not selling, right? COVID hits, which was terrible to hit. But there's no risk. You didn't lose anything besides your merchant stop processing. And quite frankly, it's not a good thing. I wish COVID never happened, but our e-com customers did more than ever. It was us and toilet paper that thrived in COVID. It's terrible what happened to people and their families, but in terms of security, you need to have security. So many people unfortunately lost their jobs and everything else. So in terms of something, where the whole world's going cashless, that's literally music to a payment processor, credit card processor. The world's going cashless. You're like,
more plastic.
It's like when they first hit oil on the ground and it was squirting out. Right? It's like that is, and people are like, oh, is it too late? Am I? It's not like, okay, you did invest in Apple and now too late. It's too late, right? I don't quote me. There's someone's gonna watch this video later and be like, type it in Google or whatever. But I think it's like $500,000. I hate saying this. I know someone's gonna like, I freaking it. I think it's 500,000 new businesses in the U.S. are started every month.
Yes, no, that's not wrong.
I think that might be right. It's something crazy. And nowadays too, because of COVID, everyone working from home, everyone's becoming a different entrepreneur in some facet. So that number is going to keep growing. So yes, there's tons of new businesses to go after, but there's so many, like you were saying, existing businesses that just either want to save money because of COVID or just aren't getting serviced right. And 9 times out of 10, you're just offering the same service at a better rate. You're no different than when someone goes to refinance their mortgage after 5 or 10 years. You're refinancing their credit card processing for their business. And you're no different than when someone goes on Orbitz or Travelocity and there's 5 flights or 5 hotels that are all exactly the same, just a different price for the same quality of product. That is what it really is, so.
Yeah, and that whole, again, like I love what you just said, there's always the innate natural human thing is to be skeptical right away. Oh, maybe it's too late. Maybe it's not. Look, the gold miners, the people who made the money during the gold rush were not the people actually finding the gold. It was the people selling the shovels and the pikes and all that other stuff, right? The hardware store guys, they made the money. So think about it like this. It's not the credit card companies. I mean, they make their money, but the guy or gal like us who is, hey, I'll handle your credit card processing. Everyone's using it, to Dave's point. there is money to go around. Imagine an ocean. That's what it is. As if someone's in business right now, they're taking a credit card. And if they're not taking a credit card and they have a lucrative business that's been doing straight cash, eventually they're going to have to start taking credit card, because
And
Dave hit it on his head. People don't want to exchange
there's
cash.
so many other services too. That's what we won't go into everything right now because it's too much for everybody. But there's so many other services you can also offer your customers that can get you other residuals and other income streams that we have all inside of the platform. So I think, Rich, I probably what I'm probably want to do with you is even, another 3 months. We're doing a Rich update. Like, where's Rich at now? Keep retargeting. Like, the guy keeps growing. Every time I say his hat, he's got new accounts. And you guys, when you get inside the platform, you could say hi to Rich when you get inside. I think, I really appreciate it. I reached out to Rich yesterday, the other day, and I said, hey, Rich, can you come on and join me? I want to stop. I love our ads, but we're going to start doing ads like this, where it's people can listen and people can learn from other people and be like, you know what? They may look like you, they may talk like you, you may have said one thing where they like, I relate to that guy, Rich. I hear what he's saying. I could do what he's doing, and that's where it's really great. And eventually you can grow a team. There's so much, it's a spider web of endless possibilities with this. And that's why I tell everybody, just don't miss this opportunity.
To anyone who took the time to watch this or see this, don't miss the opportunity. And I'm just as normal as you. Dave's just as normal as you. That's Patricia's just normal as you, right? We're normal people. But our desire and our drive is what keeps us going. And I'm trying to get to where they're at. Right? And
that's just our human nature. If you ever start to catch up, I'm going to run 10 times faster, and I'm not going to sleep. And we're just normal people who want to make abnormal money.
Yeah.
That's all. And life is short. So you just have to, I preach freedom. Just, you want to wake up every day and say, do I want to work today? Do I not want to work? Do I want to work hard this week and take off next week? It's not all about the glitz and the glamour. It's about quality of life and not having somebody tell you what to do every day, because that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So I really thank you. Thank you so much, Rich. I know a million people are going to resonate and love the things that you said. I really, really, really appreciate you jumping on this call. And then I will see you hopefully in, I guess, 2 hours. We have our weekly call as well. So thank you so much, Rich. It's just been a pleasure as always, and get back to work. You got some deals to close. Thanks, Rich.
We've been on a Monday.
See you, Rich. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.